And welcome back to KDKA's debate between the candidates for Allegheny County Executive, Republican Joe Rockey and Democrat Sara Innamarato. Our next question comes from Lisa Smith.
All right, our next question is regarding the county executive role. Considering this week that the Allegheny County Council voted to sue the county executive over the decision to enter into a contract with a private company to operate the Schumann Center, as we talked about earlier, and also considering that earlier this year, the Allegheny County Council overrode the veto of the county executive and raised the minimum wage for county workers to $18 an hour next year and $20 an hour for 2026. Is there a power struggle between the county executive and the county council? Who is right and why? And is it the county executive or is it the county council? Starting with Mr. Rockey.
So there's absolutely a power struggle going on. It appears there's been one going on for an extended period of time. All you have to do is look at the Jail Oversight Board and the noise that has been created by that board over the course of the last couple years. And the two examples you offer are examples of what's going on right now. At the end of the day, the county charter is the rule of law that we should be following. And the county charter gives certain authority to the county executive, particularly relative to compensation. I think the current executive is rightfully suing the county council to indicate that the council does not have the authority to unilaterally give raises to individuals in the county. It is imperative that we have a county that follows the county charter, and as county executive, I will make sure that we do follow the county charter and that we execute the running of the county the way it was intended under that charter.
All right, Ms. Innamarato.
So just like the federal government, county has three branches of government: the executive, the legislative, and the courts. And I believe that the county council should be a check on the power of the county executive. And we're seeing that right now play out in a number of very high profile cases where, it results in someone getting sued. A lot of this can be resolved through partnerships and communication. So, I have this experience of bringing people together to have a dialogue. And while county council is supposed to be a check on the executive, there's no reason why there can't be ongoing communication on what our shared vision and values is and how we work together in order to get it done. I believe that the county council taking the step to raise the wage floor for county employees was something that was within their purview, and I agree with their decision to do that.
All right, so Mr. Rockey, we're going to go back to you for your rebuttal. Regarding the ability of the county council to sue the executive, the county executive over the contract, what is your position on that? Who's right?
So to be fair, I have not dug into the contract itself. I do not believe it has been made public yet. So to have an opinion on who's right or not is early to say that. For the county council to feel they have a say in a contract of that significance, though, I would support that they have a say. And I absolutely support that the future of county government is a partnership between the county executive and the county council. It is important that we work together and we show civility as we work and demonstrate to the county we can accomplish and solve the problems that it has in a manner that is professional and accomplishes the goals.
Thank you. Ms. Innamarato, regarding again that same question about who has the right to sign a contract regarding Schumann, who do you say that is?
So from my understanding, that anything that involves county property and a contract with it does require a vote from county council. So it seems like there might have been an overstep in this process. Again, we will have to wait to see the contract and how that plays out. But going back to what I said earlier is that all of this could have been avoided if there was dialogue and people did not live in their silos. And I'm someone who has a demonstrated record of bringing people together to work on a common vision and goal.
Thank you. Lori.
All right, our next question is regarding public-private relationships and partnerships. Ms. Innamarato, decades ago, this region benefited from a strong public-private partnership between the government and the leading companies and foundations in Pittsburgh. Today, these organizations face the same challenges that we all face, and some are using their talent and resources to tackle them as well. How would you create and strengthen these public-private relationships to find creative solutions to these challenges?
So I have a Made in America manufacturing plan that I think is a great example of how we will work with our universities, our philanthropic community, and our private enterprises and government officials at all levels in order to figure out how we prioritize bringing down those federal dollars to support manufacturing here in Allegheny County. We have generations of talent who is capable and ready to work. We have the space in areas like the Mon Valley and community members who are ready to be a part of the new green sustainable economy. Those types of public-private partnerships are what are going to make us competitive for this region, and I'll be able to work on day one with the Shapiro administration in order to align our incentives and our processes from the state on down to the county to make sure that we can deliver.
Mr. Rockey.
So I feel like we answered a question that was different than the one you asked, so I'll just repeat the question. How are we going to have public and private partnerships that move our county forward? The best example I can give you is 2nd Avenue Commons. It's a private partnership, a public and private partnership between foundations, the city, the county, and as I said before, UPMC, AHN, and PNC. It's an example of when leadership comes together, identifies a problem in front of it, and addresses it with the skills and talent of each of those organizations working together to a common objective. I am a problem solver. That is my history throughout my career at PNC, Ernst & Young, and the other places I worked. What a problem solver does is get people to align upon the objective. I will tell you one of the objectives I would focus a public-private partnership on is the mental health crisis we have in Allegheny County and obviously around the whole country. I believe those same parties that I referenced relative to 2nd Avenue Commons can come together in a manner which will address the mental health crisis in Allegheny County and allow us to be a beacon for the country on how to address mental health going forward.
Ms. Innamarato, Mr. Rockey gave some specific examples. Are you able to do that, please?
So I think that there are incredible examples of where public and private partnerships are working. I sit on the board of the Urban Redevelopment Authority, as well as I'm vice chair of the Allegheny County Housing Authority. And really nothing gets done from those authorities unless they have those relationships with developers and with the community so that we can ensure that we are leveraging our public dollars to get private financing to build more affordable housing, support our small businesses, and to make our communities vibrant.
Mr. Rockey.
I will just reference, so I am on multiple not-for-profit boards. I've worked with government entities to help support all of them. I have worked in corporate America helping to solve problems. If we bring the public-private partnerships with the foundations that have supported the many other things that I have worked on together, we can solve all of the challenges in Allegheny County.
Thank you.
Let's talk transportation now. It's been a decade since the T was expanded under the Allegheny River to the North Shore. At the time, County Executive Rich Fitzgerald said, the question now is how do we extend it further? Maybe into the North Hills, maybe all the way up to Cranberry, maybe west to the airport or along the Ohio River Valley corridor, the Route 65 corridor. As we know, nothing happened. What would you do about transit in Allegheny County, and would you make it a priority? Mr. Rockey, this goes to you first.
So I'll begin by telling you I absolutely make it a priority. I spent yesterday morning with the CEO of the organization talking about the challenges they have, so we're prepared as we move into transition to address them. She informed me that there is a $2 billion capital need for the collective transit system here in Allegheny County. It is incredibly important that we have transit. Transit is how people come to work in downtown and move around our county. There's a statistic that when pre-pandemic there were 110,000 people coming to Allegheny County, there's only 40,000 parking spots. If we want to return to where we were, transit is critical, but that requires investment. The pandemic funding is moving away. We have a serious business challenge in front of us to solve the transit situation in terms of funding for capital needs into the future, as well as to be able to fund the needs to have ridership today and to have the buses and trolleys and other forms of transit available to our citizens to move around this county effectively.
Ms. Innamarato.
So mass transit and public transit is a key indicator for having a high quality of life and vibrant communities throughout our region. I was privileged to be able to serve on the Transportation Committee in my time in Harrisburg, so I know how vital it is to our economic development as well as social mobility for people from all walks of life. I was working on a bill before I left Harrisburg that would create a local funding source for our transit authority. We have this opportunity not only to invest in capital needs for our transit system, but we really also need to focus on building up that operational monies, because we are in desperate need of bus operators. People are in a dire need of service to get to their doctor's appointments, the grocery store, to drop their kid off to daycare. And we need to be able to deliver on high quality, predictable, on-time service in order to grow our use of mass transit.
Mr. Rockey, before I let you give you another 30 seconds, let me just reframe this slightly. Sometimes newcomers to Pittsburgh find it odd that we have light rail, but it only goes to the south. At the end of your administration, would that still be the case?
I think the first thing you have to do is address the $2 billion hole in the capital budget for maintaining the system we have today. So I know we're expanding, from downtown to Oakland, and that's extremely important for us as an expansion. We'll have to decide what the next expansion is from there. But most importantly, right now, we have to sustain and expand the existing service. As a child, I rode the bus. I rode the bus to Duquesne, or I wouldn't have been able to go to college. I rode the bus to go shopping with my mother because we didn't have a grocery store nearby. I know the importance of having access to public transit to live your life day to day. I will make sure we don't take that away from the people of Allegheny County.
Ms. Innamarato,
that is the place to start.
Thank you, Ms. Innamarato. Would you take some step, maybe just lead the charge to expand T service so it doesn't just go in one direction?
Yeah, and I have to say, I was on the bus yesterday, and I'm just grateful for all the operators who move people around this county. What a dream it would be to get off a flight at the airport and be able to hop on the T and take it into the city, just like you do in any other major city and cities our size. I think it's a really noble path to go down, and we should really consider what the capital cost would be in order to expand the T line out to the airport, so that we can highlight our city and highlight our connectivity the moment someone steps foot in our region.
Thank you. John Delano.
Candidates, I'd like to make another shift. I want to explore your political philosophies. Ms. Innamarato, you first won office in 2018 as a Democratic Socialist, and we've seen pictures of you in front of the Democratic Socialists of America table, and you once tweeted a picture of yourself with Bernie Sanders, who calls you a revolutionary. So are you a revolutionary? Are you a socialist? What exactly does all that mean?
So I like to define myself as a pragmatic progressive, and I'm pragmatic in the sense that in order to hold public office, you need to work with people who believe different things than you do on a common goal. And I have shown that, that I am able to reach across the aisle and get things done in Harrisburg. I've brought back millions of dollars to our region to support libraries and repair bridges, but I've also been able to pass legislation even when my party, the Democratic Party, was in the minority. I successfully passed the whole home repair bill, which allocated $125 million to home repairs to make sure that we can keep seniors in their home and have low to moderate income homeowners be able to remediate their homes to make sure there's no health and safety hazards. So I have shown that I can be a visionary and paint a picture of what a better world looks like, but also live in the details and the collaboration that moves us forward.
So you're not a socialist?
I'm not.
Are you a revolutionary, as Bernie Sanders calls you?
I would say in reimagining how we can govern and how we can bring government back to the people, and really have folks see themselves reflected in government. I would say that is a new and revolutionary way to think about government and not just accept the status quo.
Mr. Rockey, you're a Republican, but you say you're not a Trump Republican. What does that mean exactly? On the election board, would you restrict voting rights, as some have claimed? And will you support President Biden for re-election if it comes down to Trump and Biden?
So, John, let me start by saying, when this began, I was interviewed by somebody and they said, as you've moved to the middle, and I had to stop them because I haven't moved anywhere. I was raised in a home of a Union Democrat. My mother and father were passionate Democrats. I am the middle, and I believe that Allegheny County is majority in the middle. I tell people the only R in this race is Rockey. Yes, I carry an R because I'm Republican. But no, as I said, John, directly to you when you interviewed me, I will not support Donald Trump. Donald Trump is the definition of the divisiveness, which is what is wrong with politics. We talked about it a few minutes ago, the divisiveness between the county council and the county executive. Divisiveness is standing in the way of us moving forward this country and absolutely should not stand in the way of us moving forward this county. I am a centrist who will lead from the middle and represent the majority of Allegheny County, Democrat, Independent, or Republican.
So you are a Republican who will support President Biden for re-election?
I will support the right person running for the election when we know who the people are who are running for the election. To comment on who is running today, when there are multitudes of Republicans in the race, and even the Democrats have not finalized that it will be President Biden, is too early for me to comment.
Ms. Innamarato, you have 30 seconds.
So I'm a Democrat, and I know that Democrats are a big tent, and I've worked, with folks from that entire spectrum in order to say what are our common goals, what do we believe in, and how do we move forward together. Mr. Rockey is a Republican. Even after January 6th, even after overturning Roe v. Wade, he still commits to a party that is trying to disrupt our election cycles and trying to take away reproductive health care.
Mr. Rockey.
This election is not about national politics such as reproductive health care. The Allegheny County Executive has no role in reproductive policy. This election is about the middle against the far left. My opponent has said she's not a democratic socialist. Yet everything on her website that you look at, all of her tweets over the course of the last several years support that that's exactly what she is. And so this election is about choosing between a centrist in the middle who will bring practical solutions and solve the problems of Allegheny County versus a far left ideology that my opponent is offering.
Are you a far left ideologue?
I would just invite people to go to saraforall.com and look at all of the policies that we put out and laid out on the public website. And we also put all of our donors on there because I believe in transparency, and you should know who's giving to our campaign and why we're making the decisions that we're making.
All right, Mr. Rockey, 20 seconds.
So it's not just look at what she's saying today. It's look at the many, many tweets that have been made over multiple years. It's look at her record in how she voted in her role as representative. It will point to she is what John started off by announcing.
By asking.
Asking, sorry, forgive me.
It's a big difference. All right, time now for another quick break. We'll be right back.